man who is a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, a two-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, a 2018 WWE Hall of Fame inductee. It is our distinct honor to welcome in the one and only Bill Goldberg. Mr. Goldberg, thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
Forged in fire, knife or death. But when I think of getting into a fight, I'm going to think I need fire or a knife to take on Goldberg. So what do you think about this project and what you've seen out of it so far?
You know, it's something that's not out of the norm for me, taking on something that I'm not an expert at and trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But it's given me a great opportunity to learn about something that I'm not an expert at, like I said. I kind of feed off the people that are around me, the weapons expert, the blade expert, Travis Wirtz, Tu Lamb. We've kind of got the best of everybody in each given discipline. And so I try to tie it all together with a little bit of excitement. And heck, my wife is a blacksmith, and now I can knowledgeably have a conversation with my wife about forging knives. So, I mean, heck, if I don't gain anything, I can at least talk at the dinner table coherently with my wife about that process.
There's so many cool things that are like just in the process of putting this show together and what we've read about it, what we've seen so far. There's so many extreme athletes and just unique competitions built in. So what is it about you that drew you to the project? Is it that it's a little bit different for you, or is it getting to see some of these unique talents all put together on one show?
Well, part of me as a human being likes a challenge. It's something that wasn't in my wheelhouse from the beginning, but in a sense, it was in that I have an extensive knowledge of the martial arts, body movement, and physical application. When it comes to violence or violent acts, I think I have a little bit of experience there. You know, it's just, and it's a really cool format. There was a show that I did years and years ago called Bull Run, and it was a automotive competition, and it pitted, probably 6 teams, and it was it ran the gamut of the stereotypes. Okay, you had the 2 young pretty girls in the BMW. You had the 2 redneck guys in the big truck from Alabama. You had the Mexican guy, 2 Mexican guys in the 57 Chevy. At the end of the day, it was a clear representation of a number of demographics, whereas people could instantly, whether they were blade experts or not, they could instantly have somebody they could either relate to, cheer for or against. And like in wrestling, all you want people to do is care one way or another. So it's not only a history lesson, it's visually spectacular, like a Ninja Warriors. The course is you get your element of backstory and knowledge about the blade and forging, and then you get the violent aspect and the the real-time aspect of people running through a competition, and you have 2 type A alpha males commentating on it in real time, showing their natural reaction. I think it's a pretty cool combination of a lot of things that make it work. And like my wrestling career, it was dependent upon a lot of moving parts. And whether it's the guy who created it or the guys who present it or the guys who film it or ultimately the people who run the course, it's a team effort. And it's a lot of fun being a part of that team.
Have you had a wow moment yet that's really taken you off your feet and really shocked you and that kind of overblew your expectations of what the competition and what the show was going to be?
Well, all you got to do is listen to my goofy reactions on a couple of instances where guys broke their blades in half. Things happened that I never envisioned possible. but maybe it's because I didn't know the complete process of the forging of the knife, and so I didn't predict something like that to happen. But in real time, when you're calling an obstacle and a contestant going through it with a 38-inch blade, and then he takes one swipe, and then it becomes a 36-inch blade, one more swipe, and then it becomes a 32-inch blade, you know, and you see pieces flying, and you see the reaction out of him, and you see the visual spectacle of it actually happening in front of your eyes. It's really cool. And as goofy as I sound, that's a natural reaction. I'm not trying to overblow anything. We don't yell cut, and I, you know, do a VO of me screaming. We do VOs of stand-ups, of informational stuff. We don't do VOs of natural reactions. And good, bad, or indifferent, that's what you got. And I think it's a cool aspect.
Now, it's awesome to have Goldberg, you know, as a host of the show and kind of the face of the show. Do you think wrestling really kind of got you ready for this role? And it kind of, you know, it kind of does fit Goldberg. The whole style of the show and the whole presentation of the show fits Bill Goldberg.
Well, I appreciate that very much. You know, there's no question that wrestling had a hand in making me the man/performer that I am today. I was comfortable in my skin when I played in the NFL, when I played at the University of Georgia, when I played at Edison High School, because I had been afforded opportunities as a young kid that gave me confidence in dealing with what was set before me. So I like to think that from the beginning, you know, the Goldbergs are, you know, ones that try to push to the front and always strive to be the best and try to feel as natural in any situation possible. And I think experience has everything to do with that also, and wrestling falls into that. And it got me to the forefront, and I'll always say that, you know, my dream was to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, but getting to the WWE Hall of Fame actually served the purpose that I set out to accomplish much more so than I think the NFL Hall of Fame would have, and that was for me to be a role model for kids. And, you know, I don't know how that role model status applies to Knife or Death, but, you know, when you encapsulate it, it's something I took on as a challenge, and hopefully I'm succeeding, and hopefully we've got lots of years of competitors to be seen going through these crazy courses.
There's so many moments in your history. I've been a long time fan, whether it be WCW, you know, beating Hollywood Hogan for the world title in the Georgia Dome, or, you know, just going on that streak. And there's so many different things. But when you came back to Monday Night Raw, and you were basically this homecoming of this huge hero, and you were doing it for your son, that really hit home for me, because I got a little boy. He's going to be 3 soon. It just, that hit home for me. I was like, man, this is awesome that he's able to do this. And he was literally, like, I got like goosebumps. I'm like, man, this guy is like a legitimate Superman type hero, doing it for his son, doing it for his family, and he came back and he beat Brock Lesnar. Is that moment really special to you, to be able to come back and do that?
Oh my God, it's the most special thing that I've ever been afforded in my entire life. It was, you know, but again, I mean, it's because of a lot of people other than myself. I just was cast in the spot to be able to pull it. I was cast in the spot to hopefully be able to pull it off. My success was not dependent upon my own performance. It was again a symphony of people making it happen, and I'm just lucky to have got that opportunity. I'm appreciative that I worked my ass off, that I made it happen, and that the you know, everything fell in the right place. But like me beating Hogan in front of 40,000 people in Atlanta, I was in the right place at the right time. And so I'm an extremely lucky human being to have been afforded the opportunities that I've had in the past, and to be able to, 12 years removed from the business, go back and do what I did as a father, along with, just a normal human, I mean, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. And, and you can understand, and millions upon millions of guys can understand the situation that I was in and that I'm in every day being a father. And so to get that opportunity to basically be put on a rocket and shot up to stardom again in front of your eyes, the eyes of your son in real time, dude, how can you write it any better than that?
So cool. It's just what a moment for me. That was probably my favorite moment in wrestling in a very, very long time. It was so cool. I ended up being a longtime fan of yours. That was unbelievable. And it was awesome to see you be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, rightfully your place in the Hall of Fame. Did you enjoy the Hall of Fame and your weekend with the WWE?
Yes and no. It's bittersweet. I'll start with the yes, in that I was extremely and will always be forever honored and indebted to the people who chose me to be a member of the Hall of Fame. Period. End of story. The people that I rubbed shoulders with in those in that hall, I mean, I don't deserve to be there by any stretch, but did I enjoy being last when half the people left because of a 6-hour ceremony, when people go on and on and on and, and unfairly try to encapsulate their 5 to 30 to 40 years in the business? It was an unfair, unceremoniously strange send-off, because it's just tough. You try to be professional in consideration for others. And I'm not saying that the others weren't considerate, because they deserve their time. You deserve to sit out there and talk for an hour and make people understand how appreciative you are of the accolade and the induction and the stories that encapsulate your career. It's an injustice for people not to hear those things. But at the same time, it makes for an extremely excruciating experience sitting out in that crowd. And even more excruciating for somebody who has to follow them and capture their career in a short period of time, which is what I tried to do. And hell, I forgot about Sting, and he was sitting on the front row, thank God. I forgot about a million people. But you don't have time, And I gave my suggestions to Mr. McMahon afterwards. And then you carry on to the next night, or you carry on to, Mania, where you're introduced. Well, I was out of there like a hot potato, because, as long as I'm physically able and, as I said, have the ability to do the things that I used to do, I'm not saying I want to be out there doing it, but it's tough being around. It's like being in pads, standing on the sideline, waiting for the coach to put you in, but you can't because you're not eligible. It's just, I'm a competitive person, and it's tough to sit back and watch other people do it, whether it's wrestling or anything else, whether it's hosting a show, whatever it may be. So that transition, that's kind of forcefully retire when you get this Hall of Fame induction. I'm uncomfortable with that whole kind of situation. So,
well,
I'm still walking tall, man. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, there's no doubt that Hall of Fame career set you up for what you've done post-wrestling, which has just put up so many awesome credentials, whether it's commentating or whether it's hosting or whether it's doing other appearances on television shows. And I got to say, you got your ear to the ground in the entertainment industry, so I might want to pitch this to you. How about Forge and Fire, Knife, Death, or Jackhammer? What do you think about that for a show like this?
I think it's great, but, it was hard enough to get the insurance policy that we did, so... Heavy machine, not heavy machinery, but something like that in there. I don't know if we can get away with that, but I like the idea.
Absolutely. So Goldberg, as we
I'm
wrap
not
up here,
talking about the move. I'm talking about an actual jackhammer, because that's the only way we'd have to pull that one off.
I don't know. I saw you hit that jackhammer on some people, and it was pretty impactful. So you could say the actual jackhammer. I'm going to say your jackhammer. So we'll leave it at that. But we got to come back to Forged in Fire, Knife or Death. New episodes Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on the History Channel. Goldberg, please, if you can, just give us one last pitch for the show and what fans can expect from you every single week on Forged in Fire.
Knife or Death, Tuesdays, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, only on History. Watch it or I'll kill you.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates.